playlist. So I
Oh yeah.
dived in and I went through like their whole catalog. I was like, oh yeah, this one, this one, this one, this one, and I was like, fuck yeah, and it's all over the place. So when I explained to her, I was like, all right, so this is the weirdest, most insane, beautiful band ever. It doesn't make sense. I was like, I tried to make the songs flow in a sense where like one song would kind of easily go into the other, but it's not always possible.
Where she
So it
would
just goes to
believe
show
it's
you
the
how
same
fucking
band.
eccentric they are.
Yeah.
What's that?
Because
And
we
that's what I
always
said
said
too.
you
I
could
was like,
put on a Ween CD and be like, oh, this is just like a mix mash
a
of all
mix
bunch
of
shit.
different groups. Yeah, it's nuts. So yeah, I was fucking jamming out earlier, getting pumped. And then kind of I feel bad. Maybe I should rearrange some shit because the end of the playlist was a little mellow. That's why I put on some like hardcore funk. I was like, okay, I need to like jazz it up a bit.
And then it
So
kind of brought you down.
yeah.
I watched the not Spotify. Fuck, what's the other one that starts with an S? Showtime. Has a really good Rick James documentary.
Really?
Yeah, and it's pretty fucking good, man. Sorry,
I'd love to watch that.
Yeah. Dude, it's pretty dope. And they actually spend a lot of time talking about Buffalo and where he came from and everything, and how
Cool.
Buffalo is pretty. Back in the day, it's not like the race riots were just like, oh, it was just that one. It's like, dude, the whole fucking country was at it. And there's like old school people being like Buffalo when he was growing up in the 50s and 60s. Well, America when he was growing up in there wasn't really anywhere to go. So he went through a lot of shit here, but he did have a studio here. I remember I was saying like, what are the odds that Party All the Time was recorded in Buffalo? At Rick James's studio, because the timings matched up. And in the fucking documentary, it shows him like walking through the airport, getting off a plane, and paparazzi's around him. Eddie Murphy's the biggest fucking movie star in the world. Rick James, And the fucking guy on the news go, Eddie Murphy's been in Buffalo, spending most of his time at Rick James's recording studio, working on a new song. I'm like, oh shit! He said it like it's not even for interpretation. The guy said it word for word, unless maybe
That's crazy.
News was different back then. Maybe he was totally wrong.
But, but that is so weird. Like somebody so fucking out there, like as wild and amazing as Rick James is from here. Like that's why I think like we have like some like the actors and shit that come from this area, like ones that you've seen in movies, are like the ones that you don't know their name but you recognize their faces.
William Fichtner.
William Fichtner. The chick from the Grinch, the Jim Carrey Grinch,
the little girl.
So like when he was like little and had a crush on the girl in school, and then they made fun of him because he shaved or whatever, and then they grew up and she was like dating the mayor, but like he liked her. That she's got like beautiful insane eyes. I forget her name, but she's from Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
She's from Buffalo. I saw her on the
Is she like
fucking
the trophy wife one? Who already kind of looks like a Who? Like they didn't have to do much makeup on her? Oh, I didn't know that. I was reading about one. One hit me the other day, too. Because like I'll Wikipedia the shit out of anything I'm watching. And one of them was like somebody from Buffalo went to like LaSalle High School and then went on to do some fucking pretty awesome shit. And I can't remember who it was. I told Lee.
The costume designer?
No, that was a different thing. Maybe. No, that was different. Because there was somebody else after that. There was like a costume designer. Who was maybe it was that, and then there was also a sound guy, like a music guy too. I just keep finding these random people who barely matter.
Yeah,
it's such a shit part of the world. They're like, he held the boom on 2 episodes of Star Trek. We're like, wow, where is the fucking museum to this guy? We take a pilgrimage to his childhood home.
Tomorrow,
fucking 27th
Street. The BPO is playing the music of Star Trek and Star Wars. And I really really want to go. Like, I'm not saying I said kinda because I'm self-conscious, but really, I really want to go to that. But like, I can't find anybody who would actually want to go to that with me, so I'm not going.
Find a date to that? Really?
Yeah.
Well, you want to roll solo? There's gonna be tons of chicks at that thing.
I know, dude. I'm just fucking reeking of pussy after I walk out of there.
I doubt you're gonna really be the only alone dude at a thing like that.
No, but I'm not going to go. Like, that's odd. I've never been to, like, an orchestra before, and I'm definitely not going to go, like, by myself.
I went to the Grateful Dead thing at Art Park when they had the Dead band playing with the orchestra. That was pretty fucking cool. Could have been louder, just to say. The old ladies...
you weren't by yourself, either.
No, the old ladies who were, like, the ushers and everything, who are used to, like, guys and dolls and shit. There's a fucking giant guy in a fluffy turquoise hat rolling on his balls off with like glowing all his light sticks and shit glowing, and he's in the aisle. She's like, no dancing in the aisle. I'm like, ma'am, aisle means shit to that guy. You gotta fucking narrow it down to universes and like just say like, sir, you're harshing my mellow, and he'll get it. If you say, sir, excuse me, please, he'll think authority and he'll just run and throw all this shit in the bushes.
You dropped your booklet, sir.
Yeah. And then we saw who sang the fucking song from Pocahontas? Was it Vanessa Williams? Or is that the tennis player? No, that's Venus and Serena. He's fucking through some fucking.
Why is it always anyone with the last name Williams? You're like, is that the tennis player?
Because like one time
John
it's
Williams?
gonna be.
Is that Serena and Venus's fucking dad,
Yeah.
John Williams?
Yeah, and one day it's gonna be. No, that's Will Smith. We saw the movie.
Okay.
I saw the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You did? Was it any good?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
If I did, I know who the fuck these people were. So, anyways, Paul Williams. No, we saw her because like Lee got free tickets from like the fucking bank or something, some gig. There's like just sitting there, and we're like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. It's around the corner, and she was with a full orchestra, and it's like your mind can't compute that you're seeing that live because it's so perfect, and it sounds like a movie. It sounds fake. It sounds like they're all pantomiming and they're just playing music out of the thing.
Because
You know
I've never seen music like that. Well, I've never heard music like that really wasn't. I mean, I've heard classical music, but to me and you, like you're saying, it's strictly in movies during like crazy action scenes or like, montages, shit like that. So when you actually see, I've never seen an orchestra perform live. That's why I'm like, I don't know. I kind of want to go tomorrow. But like Romer asked me to do something, and I'm like,
shit, he
it's a
texted
friend
me,
I
too.
haven't
was
seen in a
fucking
while, and you know what I mean? And I'm like, but it's Star Wars and Star Trek, and how often does the BPO do it? Tonight they're doing the music of David Bowie, which is pretty fucking cool.
Oh shit, that's way cool.
Yeah. I know. I looked at their website. I'm like, dude, they got some fucking cool shit going on. I had no idea.
It's cool because because we're used to watching 4-piece. If there's a 6-piece band, you're like, wow, why? You gotta pay everybody? What the fuck?
Yeah, which one of you booked it, and who isn't getting paid?
Fucking idiot. No. What? Yeah, you know what I mean? You see a big band, and you're like, whoa, this is a big production. He's got 2 keyboards. And then when you see a fucking 50-piece orchestra, it's fucking, it's a musical level, like on another level.
Have you
watch a guy sitting there with his viola, and he ain't doing shit, and you're like, guy hasn't moved in like 3 minutes. And then all of a sudden, the next measure comes in, and him and 8 other people are, whoa, shit.
Do you see that South Park? I think it's for some special or something they have coming up, but like they have like a huge orchestra and like opera singers or whatever playing songs from the show, and it's really fucking funny. But it's so perfectly done, like that, like so. There's no more perfect music than orchestras and everything, like, you know what I mean?
And those guys, like, I mean, they've been writing. His first thing was Cannibal the Musical. Like, he's been into musicals for fucking since day one. Right. You know what I mean? Team America was a musical. South Park movie was a musical.
I know.
The fucking.
That's why when I go back and watch it, I'm like, I don't know, man. I fucking hate musicals, dude. I really do. Like, I think those songs are funny and
the
shit.
Movie,
but like,
the South Park movie, over time, they've gotten very. I can't remember who said it, but somebody, maybe it was Seth MacFarlane. Somebody said as like a cartoon goes, everybody's voices get higher. I think. Or maybe he said they get lower, because it seems with South Park.
I think they get lower because the guys are getting older.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
With South Park, they seem to have mellowed out. Maybe not so much the pitch, just the fucking, just the characters in general seem to have mellowed, and they become like more like normal people. And then you watch the movie from '99, and it's
I'm sorry, Kaylee's trying to say
I'm
something.
not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to them.
No.
You see the movie from '99, and it's just fucking really obnoxious and high pitched. You know what I mean? They mellowed out. You're right. Yeah, Steve, he doesn't get this thing. You guys get it.
Nailed it.
You guys get it. He don't know.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Where am I pointing? This dickhead up here. I don't even know how to fucking do it. Right up here. It's all backwards.
And a fucking shot of tequila because she's amazing.
Yeah,
she's cool as fuck. You know, like,
all right,
who's cooler than that?
Well, fucking shoot that shooter and admit to some gay shit. Come on. Save that for the next one.
Poppers. Senor Poppers.
Poppers and weird sex. Yeah, but they're good at, yeah, you're right. The musicals mostly suck, but when they're
like
good,
when they're funny like that, yes, they're awesome and they're different. But like when you have
when it's making fun of the fact that it's a musical, When it's a
Yeah.
dirty song, it's done well.
Yeah,
It's kind of
that's the best part when it's like
making
they can
fun
be
of
up in the
itself.
ranks with the rest of the people who create, Andrew Lloyd Webber and shit like that.
Who did you
know what I'm
remember the
saying?
episode of South Park with? I mean, I don't think it was their actual voices, but they did the musical and how musicals are subliminal to get girls.
Yeah.
Take me
Yeah.
to that place, that
Blowjobs.
place. Blowjobs. And like,
Yeah, and then it just as it progressed, it got more blatant.
well, they find out that
Blowjobs.
Andrew Lloyd Webber and all these like playwrights are like hanging out at a Hooters, and they're all just like bros. They're like, "Yo, what's the deal, bro?"
See, it's fucking genius. I haven't watched. I don't have cable, so I haven't watched like
It's on
South Park
HBO,
consistently and shit. And
It's on HBO.
is it?
Yeah, I
Really?
haven't caught up on anything. The Integrity Farm shit, I'm juiced out on. I'm like, dude, I get it. You're speaking.
Yeah.
You're fucking speaking my language, dude. You're maybe like, I
Well,
don't
like,
care.
in the last few seasons, they've done like a cohesive story, which is way different than any.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like cartoons, you can just go from it starts with something and then it resolves in 22 minutes, and then
Yeah,
that's it. And that's why it keeps
they're
it like
writing
not
more.
boring.
They've done that shit with the superheroes. I mean, it keeps it not boring. I haven't watched an episode of Family Guy in fucking years. That
I
you
haven't
can
either.
just like put it on 30-second chunks, and it's just boom,
Which
boom,
there
boom.
are great
Which
moments
is
from that
great,
too,
yeah.
but sometimes it gets too musical, and I'm like,
Yeah,
because like
he's
Seth
real,
MacFarlane's
yeah.
really into it, like really into it. Like sometimes like the musical isn't even that funny. It's more just I can sing
Yeah.
and everybody
Well,
have you heard me sing?
And it's a reference to one of his favorite old movies, and like
Yeah.
Stewie and Brian completely recreate it beginning to end for 8
Right.
minutes, and it's fine.
like, oh, this would be hilarious, this My Fair Lady bit. And everyone's
Yeah.
like, dude, like nobody's seen My Fair Lady. He's like, put it in!
He's
Like,
got
okay.
$1 billion. He can do whatever the
It'll
fuck
be funny
he
if we
wants.
waste half the episode on that one bit.
Told you, man. I have been to like tiny villages and little fucking coastal villages in Europe, off an island somewhere. There's a little tiny market, and you walk through, and there's all these handmade trinkets to sell to tourists. And then you look up, and there's a fucking Stewie Griffin T-shirt. It's everywhere. It's fucking everywhere. Like it's where people, you're like, I haven't seen a TV in days. How do you guys even know what this is? They don't. Just someone brings their shitty family on vacation, and their kid will buy a Stewie Griffin fucking T-shirt from the.
That is
kiosk.
when I was in Mexico, I saw like a Family Guy. There's a bunch of T-shirts, or it was the Dominican. Yeah, it was the Dominican, and there was like this shack on the beach called Walmart with 2 L's. It was really weird.
Nice.
But they had like tourist T-shirts, but they were like rip off, shit. And one of them was Family Guy, and I was thinking of the episode where Peter found out that he was Mexican, like his mom, he was born in
the whole
Mexico,
thing, yeah.
and like so, like she was. Like her arms were hanging on this thing, and she was just like they call it like a pregnancy bar or something like that. And she was just holding onto it,
Yeah.
and he fell out. And then like these landscapers came and cleaned up the area. Like they blew him off with like a
with
leaf
the leaf
blower.
blower. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, do they find that shit funny? Because like it is funny. Like it's super.
I don't know if
funny,
they've
but,
seen that. They don't know. They're like, Americans like to buy little boy. I don't know.
Little boy, yeah. Who's-
Well, what the fuck was I gonna say? Oh, well, let's get our episodic tribute to Patrice O'Neill out of the way at the roast of Charlie Sheen, where he goes to Seth MacFarlane, and he goes at him. He's like, "There's 2 problems." He's like, "The first one is he doesn't have anyone to like. He doesn't have like Hannah and Barbera or the South Park guys. They had someone to balance him out. You know the story where Hannah said." I'm bigger than Yogi, and Barbera slapped the shit out of him. Like, it's just too much Seth. It's too much you. And second part is just admit you're gay. Just say you're gay. No straight man writes that many musicals.
that was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, that was great.
I watched that not that long ago. It's funny because I was gonna watch the Saget roast. Like after that, me and my buddy Noah were watching roasts, and I was like, "Come on, let's watch Saget." He's like, "Let's watch something more relevant." And then 2 days later, Saget died, and I'm like, "You motherfucker!" So the next one we
fuck
watch
that.
together will
The
be
Saget
Saget.
one's great. Geraldo's
It is.
great.
It's amazing.
At
Yeah.
the end of all the roast sets where they say like the nice thing, Geraldo was just like, I probably be a nice guy. I met you a bunch of times and you're nice, which is odd because you're Jewish and you're obnoxious people. Okay, thanks everybody. Like, that was as nice as he could have got. Totally worth a watch is Greg Giraldo's roast fucking sessions.
So Kaylee brought this up to me the other day. I forgot about this story entirely, and I think my brain tried to get rid of it because of what it is.
The tequila was doing its job.
Yeah, it's bringing it back. So on my birthday, this year, I was doing some drinking and stuff, and I think Kaylee like worked at the restaurant. She came home, and I was just like hanging out watching YouTube or
So is
whatever.
this your actual birth? This is after the thing we played?
No, this was like that weekend.
Okay.
So it might have been the night before. I think it was the night before actually. And so, we had some birthday sex, which was pretty great. And she did immediately after exactly what you just did and threw up everywhere.
Oh, shit.
She wasn't
Yeah.
drinking. She was sober.
Oh.
So I sometimes have an issue with like, my self-esteem, my self-image, things like that. And so immediately after making what I thought was great, intense love to the woman who I'm going to marry, she barfs immediately after we finish. And she was like, I was like, what was that? I was like, why did you do that? And she was like, I just, I was so dizzy. You just made me. I was like, you're not drinking. She goes, it was so good, and I was like,
maybe that was the thing. She wasn't. That's the first time she wasn't drinking, so she actually experienced it. Like, yeah, it was like,
yeah.
How do I do this? Why did I do this to myself?
But like, she's like, you should, tell people that, we fucked so good that like I threw up. I was like, that's not good thing to tell people. Like,
no.
Plus, what am I gonna do? Tell my friends like, hey, I banged my fiance so good she vomited.
Yeah,
like, and no one's gonna believe me. Like,
plowed the puke out of her.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? No one's going to believe that was the case, that's why that happened. You know what I mean? I was like, that's not going to work. I was like, I just have to tell people what happened. And it was like, you were just so grossed out by me that you vomited. At least it wasn't in the bed. That would have been worse.
It's the ultimate honesty.
Yeah.
I guess.
So, yeah. It's fine. We're fine,
Yeah. No, that is shitty when that happens, when you're like in a tryst.
Yeah, I mean,
and
that
then
talk
all
about
of a sudden,
horrible
like,
timing.
all the wine from dinner just hits you in the face, and you're like, you have to stop.
Yeah, so that was like a wonderful moment followed by like the worst moment. For my, like, again, self-esteem, that definitely took it. Like a hit,
and then the repairman busted in and was like, "Hey, my wife does that too. Me and you, a couple of fatsos, plowing our broads,
guys who look like us,
puking their guts out,
big fat dudes." So, but yeah, she was like, "Are you gonna tell that story?" I was like, "Yeah, I think I have to, because that is something that would kind of only happen to me."
You gotta get out in front of it. That's the weirdest.
Before it gets out.
That's good. You guys don't have any like roommates or anything. That's mad weird. Like cleanup afterwards. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's a lot going on.
A lot of smells coming out of that room. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting into some real German shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got too vanilla, dude. We had to go European, and it gets brutal. It really.
Hey, that's the last days of Rome right there. They're just like puking on each other.
Barbarian
They're all
stuff.
out of
Barbaric.
jizz, yeah.
Everything we could put out of our bodies, we're just throwing onto the next person, Anything. Tears, nipple sweat, like everything. We're just like smearing it. And
speaking
of each other.
Odd sexual things, I thought of a thought. I'm not going to say it's good or bad, but it was, what was it? It's kind of a Family Guy bit. I should write for Family Guy. This whole podcast is my audition for Family Guy. So they do a bit called American Pie's Wide Shot. Where, like, one of the characters goes into a mansion and it's exactly the same. He's walking around. They do shot-for-shot recreation in the cartoon.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, and he walks by, but everybody's just fucking pies and danishes and just like a whole different bakery section. They're like double doing one of those Yule log things. But the music is still just, sweet mouth, and he's like slowly walking around, and people are in cloaks just fucking pies everywhere. He walks by, and a chick's like, "You're not safe here." Eugene Levy is fucking. There's just someone's wearing a mask of Eugene Levy. Like that's their costume mask.
That's incredible, dude. Yeah, I would love to see that.
American Pie's Wide Shut. Yeah. Stifler's mom is the prostitute. You could do a lot with that. So unpack that for yourselves, people.
Right, that was the creepiest
Dude,
shit.
as is. And I fucking connect to that Nick Nightingale character a lot. Because he was a piano
the jazz
player.
piano player? Yeah. He was
He's
just like, nah, I got to play this gig if you want to come.
Yeah, I don't know, man. These people, they pay me. I don't know. Like, you know how many fucking things I played, or people come up and they're like, where's the bathroom? I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know who this house we're at right now. Someone texted me and said, come here and play, and then they handed me an envelope of money. I don't know. You smoke no. It's all like in reverse and shit. Yeah, so American Pie's wide shut.
The other day,
It didn't make you just go. You go.
it was great. No, I thoroughly enjoyed that. I think that's great. So like,
And then you just see
There was
two
a-
chefs looking out the window, just like spent all day on that.
yeah.
I did like the lay it across lattice thing on top of the pie. It's just some senator fucking it in a fucking Eugene Levy mask.
They all have
What a
usually
waste
the
of
big
time.
noses and shit. Yeah.
Big eyebrows.
The other day, somebody posted. This is another reason why I want to get rid of the internet. But an inspirational quote, and it was like about sperm, and I thought it was funny, and then it turns out it just wasn't. It was like, of all the millions of sperm that are released during coitus or whatever, and like they all die off and all these things, and it's a race, blah blah blah, and you have no arms or legs, and blah blah blah, and you made it, and all the other ones
Yeah, but you
died
have a
off,
tail.
and,
So
and
does a
then
fish.
hundreds get to the egg, and blah blah blah, and then and some die inside, and only one fertilizes, and that's you. And like you made it, like you came into this world fighting, and you did it. And I was like, okay, but imagine being like the head of that race as a sperm, and like, yeah, and then all his friends are dying off, but like they're still supportive, like the millions of other brothers and sisters, and they're just like, go man, go, there's the finish line, go, there it is. And you're just like, I got it. And then you just landed a pile of shit. Like,
well, that's
you
yeah.
just land in somebody's poop. That's
You're the
inside
runner
their
who
butt.
shit himself, like because his body just started giving out.
It's just like all the inspiration. Imagine that inspirational quote to all these sperm, but all the ones that are wasted, like, yeah, and then like poo in a garbage can,
just
or
get
in a
squirted
napkin
into a
and
toilet,
flushed in a
yeah.
toilet, or just in someone's butt,
or
like,
vomited out onto the floor.
or puked out after Steve's birthday.
I mean, yeah, like mathematically, the odds of that of you being the one sperm are fine, but it's like, what if wouldn't all those sperm just kind of turn into you?
But
different
that's not
versions of you. It's
maybe
nurture versus nature. You're raised to be. I don't know.
There was a Family Guy episode about that
is
too. But
each sperm its own identity?
probably,
Fuck me.
you know what I'm saying? And that's not inspirational to me, because
No.
why did I make it? Like who the fuck am I? Like, I'm not. What did I like? Why? Like, that's a lot of pressure on me.
Well,
man.
that's
I
sort
didn't
of
know
the-
what I was doing. You just
who's
there's
behind
a bunch
you
of
is gonna
sperm
be
behind
worse.
that like
Yeah.
horse gate. You know what I'm saying? And then they fucking drop the gate and they just run. They don't know what the fuck. They got blinders on and shit. And then I just make it, and all of a sudden, like, I have, acne, and fucking now I have to pay bills, and, my fiance pukes after having sex with me, and I got to deal with all these things. Like, that is not cool. I didn't sign up for that. Like, that, who knows how many presidents or leaders or scientists or, way more important people than me
Maybe.
were there, but they were slower than me, and I'm not even a fast person.
No.
Like,
Well,
you know what I mean?
if we could backtrack a minute, I have an issue with this inspirational quotes things of like, you didn't even have arms or legs. It's like, well, that doesn't, with the swimming, like, I guess for a human
Right.
being to swim, yeah, because we need
Yeah.
arms and legs. Everything that lives in the water, its
Doesn't
whole
need
life is in the water, doesn't have arms and legs. If you find a fish with an arm or a leg, it's fucking from like some Fukushima
some sort of
shit.
mutation,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
in a pond behind Newport.
Yeah, 3 Mile Island shit, fucking like just some fucking thing that floated out by the fucking power plant.
Right.
Arms and legs don't help with the swimming. It's actually better
No.
to be a sperm,
Yeah.
completely shaven, no hair,
Yeah,
little
that's
swim
right.
cap, little swim cap. That's a great swimmer, little tadpole.
Exactly.
So it's not adversity for the sperm to swim. You know what I
No.
mean? It's like looking at
But
a
if-
bird and being like, with your hollow bones and your feathers and your aerodynamic beak, you flying is just a miracle. It's like, No, it's not at all. It's
No,
pretty obvious.
that's what I
It's
am.
pretty much the only thing I can do. Because as soon as sperm stops swimming, it's just done, dies, just dries out, just ruins the sock.
Spunk.
Just another pair of socks you got to buy.
That's why it's not inspiring at all. Like, I mean, and if you have to draw your inspiration from
Like, at least I won that race.
Stories,
it was
like,
all downhill from there.
Yeah, you're just like, well, I guess I did win that one thing. You know, I never get lucky. I never win
little
that.
participation trophies for the rest of them.
My sister got a last place trophy one time. It says, like, so we were in a bowling league when we were kids. My grandparents used to take us, and there wasn't like participation, I guess. There wasn't like, hey, you were in this league like 2000 whatever 2 or however younger than that. And fucking, it's like a woman in a skirt, and she's like leaning behind, like her hands up in the air, and her other hand is between her legs, like not knowing how to throw a bowling ball,
like a wacky bowling comedy cover.
And that's not the first women's bowling trophy I've seen that looks like that. They probably don't do that anymore, but it was definitely a thing. And it said, like, somebody engraved this shit. It said Mary LaBarber last place, last place.
Rough.
So I said, you know, that's gonna be like at a wake, you know, like where you put like trinkets in people's like open casket, you know, like things to remember them by. That's definitely going in hers.
Last
you know,
place.
that
Don't forget. Don't forget.
Yeah, I'll never forget.
That's sharing nice memories. That's not honest. We're gonna be honest here. Don't forget, you lost that one. And it's like a wacky, insulting, like women bowling through their vaginas again. Those wacky broads.
They don't know how to do anything.
Yeah, it's just like her, like a fucking women's first place. Venus and Serena's trophies, their first ones were just like women with a broom. They're like tennis, first place. Women's in big fucking letters. Women's first place, not men's. The men would destroy these people.
Or it's just like this, and it's like they were making such a racket, you know, like that's
Yeah, that's pretty funny that someone's like, oh, I got the last place order. Let's finish that. L-A-S-T.
Yeah, like I don't
and at one moment they weren't like, oh, this must be a funny joke for their friend. They're like, this isn't for like a kid, right?
No, yeah, this is for a fucking like 11-year-old girl or whatever, like, you know.
This isn't going to cause any
developing her like self-worth or anything at this point, and like life isn't horrible for them, you know what I mean? Going through puberty, all this shit. Yeah, she sucks at bowling, but you're gonna call her out on that too, like of all the other things, you know. Like Jesus Christ, place. Yeah.
Last, there was no middle ground. Did they go one by one, or was it just
I don't know.
Bronze,
I don't even know where
silver,
I placed in that
gold. And then a whole bunch of no names, and then last place.
Last place, the very last, Mary LaBarber. So congratulations, Mary. I will never forget. I had she gotten first in other things, we probably wouldn't be talking about it right now because it's not that type of a podcast. We talk about, you know, things that suck and things that you know people have done to embarrass themselves. Yeah, exactly.
So one time my sister
like a world-class
won.
athlete,
a pro bowler's not a world-class athlete.
Well, you know, there's bowling out in the world. And
yeah, there is, and it's a fat guy with an arm thing because this fucking brace, 8 inches is the only in-shape part of his body because he lives at a bowling alley eating onion rings and fucking
That's why bowling is the best, dude. You can eat pizza and drink beer and like be a professional athlete, you know, like and like look like shit and wear a polo that says, you know,
there's your name in cursive on it.
Yeah, Larry.
And you don't know if it's Dom or Don. If he did the double thing, I don't know. I
right,
forget.
It could be fancy.
Nobody uses cursive anymore.
That's true. You have fucking like a big thick mustache, but just a mustache. You know,
we're picturing the same guy from Big Lebowski from the beginning, and
pretty much
walrus mustache.
Yeah, exactly.
They did do. John Turturro made a Jesus Rolls movie. I think that's on Showtime too.
Yeah,
and
don't watch that.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to watch that. I don't know.
It's not like the Coen brothers weren't like
involved in it, like but
not
he's
at all.
Good. John Turturro's great.
Yeah, but not that.
No, okay.
Not
Usually
that.
Comedy sequels suck. For the most part, they do.
Absolutely.
Never seen Caddyshack 2.
Don't.
It's been voted as like the worst movie ever.
Yeah. Soundtrack's good.
The Super Troopers 2 was all right. It was
It
just
was.
kind
You
of
thought so? It was
the
so unnecessary.
same shit.
It was made like 20 years after the first one. Like,
Yeah,
who
but
gives
you're
a
not
shit?
watching fucking Macbeth. You're doing bong hits at midnight and watching some dumb shit. Like,
Yeah, I
guy's
guess.
getting chased. He's got
I
honey
think
on his balls and a bear's coming after him. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
the
Yeah,
Eagles
I
of
have a
Death
different.
Metal did the.
I can't smoke weed anymore, so like I fucking
Yeah.
that shit doesn't. I can't watch that shit. I have a whole like wall of movies that I don't find entertaining
They're
anymore
just
because I
dumb
don't
waste
smoke.
of time. Well, because movies
Yeah.
to me
and
are
waste of
just
space.
I just like, yeah, be a dumb waste of time. Be on the screen while I look at other shit on my iPad.
Yeah.
And I don't have to follow any plots or anything. I'm just like, yeah, they're up there in Canada now. So here's all the Canadian jokes and fucking Rob Lowe's in it making Canadian bits. Like, it's dumb as fuck, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Eagles of Death Metal, I think, did the fucking soundtrack, and they did an awesome cover of Blinded by the Light. Like,
Really?
on the credits. And he's really, when it says wrapped up like a douche, I think he's really saying douche like it's
He
hard.
must.
He's probably just doing it to play into the bit.
Absolutely.
Wrapped up like a douche. And,
I saw them accidentally once. I didn't know what show I was going to, but I was in Rochester, and they were pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, pretty great.
And that lead singer had like that old 70s like baseball tee on, you know what I mean, that style thing with like it's like a white shirt with like that blue outline everywhere, and it just said "keep on fucking," like and I was like, I want that shirt.
Boots,
so
electric
bad, dude. That
boots.
guy's killer.
What the fuck is his name? Jesse Hughes, I think
That's
is his
the
name.
lead singer's name.
Yeah, electric boots. Him and the Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age like started it, and there's like a rotating cast around them.
Right,
But-
that's what I thought. Like he was a part of it, and then I realized he's really not.
No, he is. He said in that documentary that Colin Hanks made about the whoopsie daisy they had in Paris with Al Qaeda or whoever the fuck took responsibility for that.
Daisy incident. Yeah,
that's the fucking.
Colin
worst.
Hanks
Dude,
made a documentary about
yeah,
that.
I mean, HBO documentary about the Eagles of Death Metal and that show and the whole thing, and it's fucking gut wrenching because, like, once again, as a musician, shit hits close to home.
Right.
But like, and Josh Homme says in that thing, he's like, I'm in two bands, but one of them takes me away. Like, one of them, I'm the fucking guy for Queens of the Stone Age, and it's this mammoth fucking thing. One of them just takes me away more, so I can't be, in the other one.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm in two bands. And when they they record, he does all their shit with them, and they put out.
Oh,
promos.
nice.
Maybe not all of it, but some,
Yeah.
something. He's took a picture with the guy once. Let's boil it down to that.
Get all our news, man.
Yeah.
We are sufficient forms of fucking media here.
Yeah.
Very relevant information. You know what I mean?
God.
Of the time.
Every episode of this, afterwards, when I go upstairs, I'm going to think about it and go like, it wasn't right at all. It's a completely different movie. Completely different. Remember Last Tango in Paris about that Eagles of Death Metal concert? You're mixing up a few things there.
The Last Dance in France. No, that's that's fucked up, man. That's great.
I did watch. The Lee is always pushing this movie on Midnight in Paris, which is a Woody Allen movie. Which some of his shit I love, some of it just flies past me, and I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck just happened.
Yeah,
because the guy writes a movie every year. You know what I mean? Which is pretty fucking impressive for like 100-year-old man. Because you see video of like, here's Woody Allen with Jack Parr in 1946, and he's doing jokes about his wife and kids, and you're like, how old is this fucking guy? Like the first stand-up ever on television. He's like, so I got 4 kids. Everyone's clapping.
Right, and then everyone's giving him shit for banging younger women, but like everyone's younger.
All of his movies are about affairs. There's constant affairs happening in his movie. But the idea of this movie is Owen Wilson's in France with his wife, Rachel McAdams, and her fucking annoying fucking parents. And he's like a successful fucking screenwriter in Hollywood, but he's a little disillusioned. And he sits down, and when the bell strikes midnight, an old-timey car comes up, and he hops in, and he travels back to the 20s in Paris, where he's always dreamed about going, and he sees Hemingway and fucking the Fitzgeralds are fucking fighting each other, and dumb bitches love to romanticize Zelda and Scott Fitzgerald, and they had literally like 4 good years. They were shit-faced the whole time, and everything else was terrible for both of them. Oh God! He died before The Great Gatsby really fucking popped. I mean, dude, and then she died in a fire in a hospital with schizophrenia. And everyone's like, I love their romance. They just want to, like how they did with the fucking Johnny and June after that movie.
The director of that hospital, they're like, cut the funding. What are we gonna do with all these people then? He just fucking pours gas on the
Yeah.
place and just lights it on fire. Like,
That's how we should take care of women's prisons back in the day.
right, I need
Yeah.
dust off my resume. Yeah.
Yeah. But fucking yeah, so he sees all of them and he's like, this is Paris in the 20s. It's what we've always envisioned, you know?
Yeah.
England in the fucking 60s with Cream when Hendrix showed up and the Beatles and all that shit. You know what I mean? And grunge in the 90s and this and that there and American rock in the 70s. And then he starts hanging out with this girl and then they later, spoilers, get into a fucking horse and buggy and go back to the Paris that she always wanted to go to. And she's like, let's stay here. Let's not go to the 20s. Fuck the 20s. The 20s sucks. He's like, what are you talking about? The 20s is like the best time. She's like, no, so the time you're in, the whole point of the movie is like, you're like, this sucks. I wish I was then. And then you go then. And all of those people are like, well, this ain't that fucking special. They didn't know it was special.
Right.
So, you know.
Lesson learned. That's nice.
Got till it's gone. And then he ends up just leaving his chick and hooking up with a chick from a bookstore, which is great. Like Woody Allen just don't give a fuck. There is literally no like we're gonna talk about this. It's like they disagreed at lunch, and then, like all of a sudden he's got a new 19-year-old girlfriend. You're like, all right, man, Jesus Christ, dude, fucking. You're fucking.
I thought of an
making
idea.
movies of your journal now.
Yeah, pretty much.
This
He
one's
doesn't
about
care.
a guy who
He has
writes
no-
movies and bangs young girls. Like, wow, where'd you fucking string that one together, Shakespeare?
This has been the same pitch the last 10 years, Woody.
Mm-hmm. So there's a screenwriter and a young Asian girl shows in his house. You're like, Woody, we got it. We know what happened.
He takes her to an authentic Japanese restaurant where they have like those fancy toilets that spray water in your keister.
Yeah, it's
Right?
Yeah, it's hygienic.
Right.
I can't go back.
But this water is tainted. And when she goes and sprays the water, it knocks her clean out. And then that's when the title appears. Bidet rape.
I was trying to think of what it was called, bidet, and like how it would have like a character named like Ashley Bidet,
Yeah.
Bidet, or it sounds like
Yeah.
a porn star. But I
Bidet,
kept saying
yeah.
duvet, and I'm like, do different things. Don't clean your ass with a duvet. You're in a lot of fucking trouble.
Yeah. Bidet rape.
Ashley
Bidet,
Bidet.
mate.
Bidet mate. Oh, come on. There's got to be a bidet mate. There's got to be
Yeah.
a fucking scrub your
Bidet
ass
mate.
fucking infomercial in fucking Australia. Billy Mays here. You know?
Yeah,
fucking,
right.
the fucking shit that has like crazy water pressure that it just impacts your fucking bowels.
Well, it's like apparently the water spins in a different way there, so it like and the
In
whole
Australia,
gravity
the
thing
water
is different.
comes
yeah.
out of your ass and cleans.
Right,
the
exactly.
bidet. That's right. It's
Right.
all upside down there. Well, they call it the down under. Clean you down under. Jesus
Clean
Christ,
you down
the
under the
fucking
bidet, mate.
bit
There you
writes
go.
itself. This has to be. If it's not, it's got to be.
We're coining it. All right, nobody
Mhm.
steal it. We are
we
heading to
got?
the Australian market.
Hugh Jackman, looking at you, pal. Mel Gibson, everyone forgets you're Australian. And, it was, fuck my tits. I almost had it. It was somebody who wasn't born in Buffalo, but they lived here for like 10 years. Might have been F. Scott Fitzgerald. Actually, now that we're all looping all this shit together about crazy things
Really?
I've read about this week, yeah. I think it was F. Scott Fitzgerald lived in Buffalo from like the age of like, whatever to fucking 12 or something.
Didn't Mark Twain also live here at some point? I believe we gotta have our resident historical expert, Pete Costello, on.
Yeah.
Because he knows, and I think
Well,
he told
can
me
we?
one of
If
those
he
things.
does, can we find out where his house was and put a sign and officially put it on Google Maps as the Twain Station? Okay. Anyways, serious things. Fitzgerald. Yeah. All right. So,
Did he ever go nuts?
F. Scott Fitzgerald. I mean, he was a crazy alcoholic for
no,
years.
fucking
Mark
Mark
Twain.
Twain.
I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll give to him in a minute. We'll find out. But all right, this motherfucker was born in St. Paul, Minnesota. Blah 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 blah. He's named after his distant cousin Francis Scott Key, who wrote the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah,
That's pretty.
my man.
How about that? Yeah. 1 year after his birth, his father's wicker furniture manufacturing business failed. Of course, Yes, Wicker furniture manufacturer. That's what they thought. Like in 1910, they're like, "This is gonna Wicker furniture is the future." What? Even then, you didn't like. I don't know, man. That car thing seems like a real good idea.
It's amazing. He's like, no, trust me. Yeah, but we've been making furniture out of twigs for centuries, dude.
Yeah.
Like
People like splinters in their ass.
yeah, they do. They do.
They like a
ran
chair that
studies.
breaks as you're sitting in it, and then it's gone. It disintegrates as you're using it. It's
No returns.
The cotton candy of chairs. It just disappears. All right, whatever. So when he was 1,
Steal, I tell you.
his fucking Wicker furniture business failed, and they moved to Buffalo. And he spent the first decade of his childhood primarily in Buffalo, and went to Catholic schools on Buffalo's west side. How about that? You know, so F. Scott Fitzgerald had a little fucking time in the old fucking Queen City. How about that? All the greatness coming from here.
I didn't like that movie though.
Yeah, no.
Well, there was like a million of them, but the one with DiCaprio.
Yeah, they could have. They tried to have all these wacky
There was
styles coming in. It was like
there was like a bunch of hip hop in it and shit.
Which is like, it's a lot of stuff from Watch the Throne, which, I mean, literally, I just started watching that movie because I was reading all about this shit after the Owen Wilson thing. It's, you go down the rabbit hole. And now I'm like, I want to read, like, Hemingway's shit, A Movable Feast, the fucking book about Paris, and it sounds fucking awesome. I'm probably going to read that. And then, hey, everybody, guess what the next one's going to be about? Like, so this fucking ash, this line-shooting piece of shit. Hemingway.
Yeah. Well, like,
fuck it, what were we just saying? Yeah, no, they tried to mix all these styles together so it kind of dates it to whatever year it came out, like 2000 something. It just looks like a fucking Ed Hardy shirt, and then all of a sudden,
it's weird.
It's a Boardwalk Empire scene, and then all of a sudden you hear Jay-Z rapping over jazz. It's
and like a bunch of like fireworks and champagne bubbles and shit.
Yeah,
like, this is a rap video,
they
but starring
have
Leonardo
filmed
DiCaprio.
it. I guess I get what they were trying to do, like bring, like if they were gonna modernize it in any way, like set it in a modern time.
Well, Leo had already done something kind of like that when he did that Romeo and Juliet movie in the 90s. Remember that shit?
Yeah, but they kept speaking all Shakespearean.
So they kept all the dialogue,
but it's
which was
set
strange.
In
but
90s.
It was, like gangs and shit. And like, it was a cool idea, but I'm not sure it was that cool. I don't remember it.
It popped up on something, and I think I started it. And like, as soon as the dialogue started going out,
it's
not
hard.
in the mood for it right now.
I don't like Shakespeare. I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, sure, great writer for the time.
Yeah, it's been
I don't care.
1,000 years. It's fine.
Yeah, I know, but like, I feel like if you any fucking writer or anybody like, oh shit, or any person who's into plays and you talk shit about Shakespeare, or just not even talk shit, like I don't know that much to talk shit about him. I just don't dig it. Like, and they forced it on us in school. Remember? And we were just like,
I guess you learned from the building blocks from the ground up, I guess, if you're learning any sort of creative writing.
Who the fuck is this guy, you know? And
if they would have came to us with shit Paris in the 20s of everybody drinking and fucking and taking crazy fucking prescription pills that they didn't even know what they were yet, you had every eyeball in that classroom right on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, Shakespeare had a humorous anecdote about, you know,
right.
Fuck. But,
he was a fuck.
The Paris in the 20s shit seemed fucking cool. And it seemed like Hemingway, like they were aware of it. The way Hunter Thompson wrote about San Francisco in the 60s, like just to be in one of those weird little pockets where you didn't do it on purpose. But you were just in there, I guess, right place.
You just happened to be there.
But then there's a lot of people who were right there who didn't even know it was fucking happening.
Yeah, true.
Like in the Woodstock DVD, they filmed all the residents, and they're like, what do you think? And there's some guy who's like, I think this is a complete fucking shit show. He didn't say that, but it's, you know what I mean? Like, you think, like, Woodstock is so fondly remembered. You're like, you know how many fucking people hated that and thought it was a complete...
destroyed an entire town.
Yeah, they weren't prepared for it. It was ill-timed. Everybody took acid for breakfast.
And the guy who was running it, was
just passed away, R.I.P. Michael Lang, keeping that fucking afro going till the end. You see him, you're like, he guy's 100 years old. He still has like fucking Shirley Temple hair.
But in the original documentary, like of Woodstock '69, right? It was '69. He fucking like there was some serious like shit, like concerns that people were bringing up to him, and he was probably just freaking out, you know.
Yeah.
But he was like just. And took acid and just like drove away on a motorcycle. They're like, wait, we need you.
People wanna, people just need to just be free to experience the experience at their own pace. They're like, no, the guy bleeding.
Yeah, they're bleeding, they're dying, they're thirsty, they're
Yeah.
rolling around in shit.
I had no idea this was happening. Way too many fucking people are here. We're not prepared for this.
So I watched that Woodstock '99 documentary, and like, it was. I mean, yes, it was terrible. There was terrible things that happened there, but also like not. I don't know. It was very like focused on misogyny.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. And there was like they kept going back to that woman who wasn't. I don't even think she was there. Like, she wasn't there at the festival.
Well, yeah, they interviewed a bunch of 20-year-old bloggers who were, like, born the day after the festival. Like, yeah, right. And they all just applied their modern shit to a fucking Korn concert in 98 where everybody's on fucking ecstasy and fucking girls are showing their tits. It's like, you're fucking talking about a different planet, man. You're talking about a different fucking world.
Different
times.
You
know what I mean? Look, and all fucking Game of Thrones. Lee started watching it again, and I kind of hopped back on the train where I hopped off. And like, I don't give a fuck. Once again, I'm not that critical of things. I don't care if it's good or bad. Just put some shit on, whatever. I don't care. I'll follow it. We'll talk about it. Stupid. Hey, look, some tits. Hey, how you doing? That guy got killed.
Yeah.
The whole show is about fucking kids as soon as you can. And, like, as soon as you can, put a fucking baby in that kid. And fucking, we gotta take over this town, and then murder and kid fucking is that whole show. And then there's people who have Game of Thrones tattoos are the ones who are writing like, we need to have a serious conversation about, and you're like, dude, your favorite thing is the most fucked up thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, I think they got that shit. Like, I don't think too many people got Game of Thrones tattoos after the series had ended. But it was just leading up to it. I mean, it was like the greatest show ever. Like, it really was. Like, it was so amazing.
Towards
so
the
well
end,
done.
they got like
the 7th and 8th season. You're waiting 8 seasons to see the White Walkers. They talk about the White Walkers coming back. It's the whole thing. I'm just saying.
They have been spending an awful. I'm like, all they
8
do
seasons, 10 years of my fucking life.
There's multiple fucking things going around, and there's always at least 4 groups that are traveling. They're either walking through desert or snow, or they're on a boat, or, you know what I mean? They're either traveling from a place to a place. I'm like, these motherfuckers never stop moving. Then they got to find shelter and stuff, or they're having some sort of meeting around some big fancy table with like a fucking thing carved into it. Or they're fucking, or not fucking kids. You know what I mean? Or whore prostitutes. You know what I mean? Like, the second she bleeds, they're like, put her in a fucking brothel. She's ready. This one's good. This one's good to go. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot of shit, a lot of darkness going on in that show.
So you haven't seen the end of it then?
No, but I don't really. I kind of get that. I kind of remember the idea, and everyone hated the ending. But everyone's hated the ending of pretty much every show that's ever existed.
This is different, bro. This was the greatest show of all time, man. This is such a letdown.
It's not the fucking greatest show of all time. That's why I don't care.
If it's
it
had the potential to be, it is not because of what happened.
But I'm not gonna care. It's like I'm not gonna. It's like a football game to me. It's like my emotional state is exactly the same as it was as when this thing started. It was just a thing to hey, let's eat some snacks and watch this. And there'll be a few things that happen that you're like, hey, whoa, cleavage, cool. Right. It's the same exact thing as football.
I'm in the same realm as other people who hate their own lives so much that they invest most of their time and energy into fake things and storylines and characters and things that don't matter really in real life. So when it ends, after 10 years,
matter, to a certain point, I guess. But it's like, how do you dismount off a thing like that?
Well, yeah, it was tough. It's the same thing with any big show that you're into.
That's what I was going to say. Every ending of every show seems to be, is there one that is universally loved by everybody?
Breaking Bad?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think
I think
it would have been, I feel like when they killed Gus and then they moved on to doing the thing in the tented houses, and then there was a biker gang. I feel like they could kind of smell like, all right, we're kind of fucking
Nearing the
doing the
Anytime
same.
you just
Here's
add
the
gang
next
at
guy.
End,
It's like a video
right.
game where you're battling the next boss, and you're like, this is just a
Well,
same level, but it's purple.
It's all Walking Dead is, man. It's just the next group of people who are fucking.
If Breaking Bad, yes, I think that's pretty much probably top one. Because it did end perfectly. The song's fucking great. You know, he frees Jess. All the plot points that are needed to be there.
Everything's summed up.
But if it would have ended with him taking Gus down and then some shit like him, like I don't know. It just seemed like that was the big guy. You know, it's like the end of the movie.
Well, I mean, you can say it too, because there's always going to be somebody else, and it might not be always like not every challenge is going to be.
It gets
bigger
to the whole fucking point of this guy is that this woman. This actress, who I'm not hating on her, okay? I'm just saying that
the old Babs effect, huh?
What do you mean the old Babs effect? No, I'm just saying yes.
Like why?
No, yes, exactly. And the same thing in Sideways. It's the same woman. I forgot her name. She's also in the Seinfeld when George eats the eclair out of the garbage. That's the girl. She's a fine actress. She's in a bunch of stuff, but in Sideways, she's the girl who's got Paul Giamatti all torn up. You know what I mean?
Because it's Paul Giamatti.
Okay, so that's a good point. This next one's Bryan Cranston, who, whatever the fuck, like, he's like, she left him for the fucking guy with the big ears, and they started a company and went on to be billionaires, and that's kind of the chip he carries on his shoulder. So when he builds this meth empire and he revolutionizes, that's his chemistry success. That's his award.
Right.
That's his
He did
fortune.
it, yeah.
He did it despite this fucking plain Jane over here, you know what I mean? Like, at a certain
But also,
point,
like, yeah, I mean, yeah,
dude, you're cooking meth. You could
get any
banging ass hooker, and nobody would know. You think that's what you need to hide from your wife? Not the fact that the first episode of this fucking thing, you guys, they were terrible meth. From the first meth deal they tried to do, went horribly wrong. The first guy Jesse took that blue meth to, they had to fucking chain up in Walt's basement, give him a bucket, fucking the whole thing. Like, it was
and they killed him, right?
They killed him, and they killed his fucking buddy, and they had to dissolve the body in the thing. They
melted him in the tub,
And
that was great.
They're like, you know what we should do? Stay in this business a couple more years. I think this is going to plan out. So we got a good start going. We got a good start. That would have been me going, I am out of this fucking scene. I'm out of this fucking country.
I made some bad decisions, but
that
I
is
never had to melt somebody.
I'm pretty good at reading a sign, you know, or that time of the night when you're like, all right, we got to go. It's getting fucking funky in here.
Yeah.
When, you know what I mean, your first, not even deal. He just went to give the guy a sample. And shit was so fucked that they ended up fucking finding him in the desert, and they had to go through all sorts of Heisenbergy shit to kill him.
Heisenbergy.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Funny he changes his name to like a Jew name and then like does nothing with the money, essentially. Just like sits on it. Like, you know what I mean? He just like doesn't spend it at all.
It's got little blue things, little blue diamonds. I'm just saying, man. This is a high quality product. Your customers are gonna really love it. I'm not gonna sell it for the basic street prices. I'm just not gonna do it.
Even if it wasn't addictive, it would sell itself. Okay, I'm just saying.
Just fucking uncut gems of meth.
Yeah. This is. I don't have a.
Jesse's smoking the opal. You smoked the whole opal.
This was really off-putting, but earlier today I was just like I needed something to snack on, and we didn't have that anything really. I have a jar of Clausen pickles in my fucking it's Clausen. And I can never remember. Vlasic's the shitty cheap one.
Vlasic's the stork.
Yeah, and then Clausen is just better. Anyway, in my opinion. But it was like the half fucking pickles, like not the quarter ones, you know. It was like a big fucking dedicated, you know, you got to eat this fucking pickle. But it tasted, for some reason, I don't know if like something happened or maybe I have COVID and this is what it tastes like now. I have no idea. It tasted like how dead people in a funeral home smell. Like it tasted like formaldehyde, sort of like it. I've never tasted formaldehyde, but like it's like when you go up to a fucking coffin, you know what I mean? It's open and you like.
I'm
sure
there. It's a similar type of thing. They're kind
of
pickling the guy, you know.
It's
the guy, sort of thing. Flowers. I mean, because flowers, I get that vibe from.
Yeah.
Which is because, you know, I don't keep fresh flowers in the house. The only time I smell flowers is at a funeral. So every time I like stop and smell the roses, and I'm like reminded of everyone who died. I'm like, no,
No.
what a sad thing to do.
Dude, can you imagine like so?
Where were they kept, in the fridge? Are we way past an expiration date here?
Yeah. No, not at all. They were like bought like 2 weeks ago, maybe. But like I don't know, it was very off-putting. But
do we want to
now
talk?
that you mention it, like at funeral homes, like do you think there's got to be some sort of symbiotic relationship between funeral directors or whoever owns the funeral home and like air conditioning repairmen?
Got to keep that air fresh.
Exactly. Like, and if that shit goes down, like if you have a funeral in the fucking summertime,
dude, funerals in like hot places.
They got to have people like
Florida funeral
ready,
homes
like on what do you call it when you have a lawyer like just on
retainer?
Yes, you have AC people on retainer.
Yeah,
you have to.
You gotta have like you go call
if you're worth your weight.
Your buddy at the ice rink, and you're like, we got a power outage. I need a favor. You're gonna have
call
to
Corella, bring it to the fucking high.
I had to cancel that Pee Wee game. I got to keep these motherfuckers on ice till Friday. Okay. Yeah, because like,
come pay your last respects. Send in lieu of flowers.
Yeah, it's like
something. Come to the ice rink.
Yeah, it's like a fucking barbecue. They're like, just bring ice. We need ice. Just bring back
donate
ice.
to the fucking little league.
All right, yeah, I think. I'm sorry, Mr. Anderson. I think your Nana is in the red cooler. No, that's where. Oh, okay, you're right. That's where the IPAs are. Try the blue one. Yeah,
you just keep her on like the fucking center ice.
That's got to be like a thing we don't think about. The mechanics of running the funeral home business. You're like, oh, the emotions and all that stuff. They're like, no, it's mostly the dead bodies, the people,
the dead bodies, the smells, the air conditioning, the refrigeration.
Fucking guy died in a knife fight. They're like, hey, you want to clean him up? We got the whole family's coming 6 o'clock Sunday. Slap him in a suit, make him look good. Yeah.
Yeah, what if you're just like fucking like just hanging out at the bowling alley with all your other friends getting wasted on like a Saturday night and fucking some guy gets stabbed to death and your air conditioning's out and you think you have the day off, but it turns out you don't. You know what I mean?
You're on call. I know many air conditioning and heater repairmen who are on call who get,
Yeah, but you have to be on call as a funeral person too, right? You have to be. People don't just like stop. Like, I mean, you have people that help like run your shit, you know what I mean? But there's always like movies where there's like a small town fucking funeral director or something. You know what I mean? Like they
Dan
run
Aykroyd
like
and My Girl.
Yeah, exactly. But what happens when he goes on vacation? Where the fuck else are these dead people going? Where is fucking what's his name?
Have like an apprentice or something. Like
but he doesn't in that, right? He doesn't in that movie. He doesn't, right? Unless
fucking no,
does
I don't think so.
Fucking Jamie Lee Curtis, is she the apprentice?
Is she in that? I don't know.
Jamie Lee Curtis is in that like she's dating some shithead and then he like meets her and then they hang out and they're great and she likes Veda and Veda likes her or whatever, and then I think Dan Aykroyd like does he punch the boyfriend? I don't remember, something like that, and they live happily ever after in a funeral home with a little girl whose best friend died.
From Bee Stings,
yeah, from Bee Stings. So Thomas, I think his name is, right? Thomas in that movie.
I don't know.
Pretty sure.
Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, it was Macaulay. That doesn't matter. Yeah, pretty much. Dude, you ever seen that movie, that Macaulay Culkin movie, The Good Son, with Elijah Wood is in it? They're like little kids.
I've heard of it. Yeah, I've heard of it.
So Elijah Wood and his mom, or Elijah Wood's, I think, parents like either die or something happens, and like he has to go stay with his aunt, whose son is Macaulay Culkin. And Elijah Wood, like, they're hanging out, and Macaulay Culkin's a little bad, but, like, whatever. They're having fun. Elijah Wood's a little innocent. And then fucking, then Macaulay Culkin starts doing some crazy shit. Like really crazy shit. Like, dropping.
Like a little kid shit.
Yeah, I think he dropped, like, no, not little kid shit. Like adult satanic shit. Like,
well, I mean, psycho little kid isn't like, did he hurt small animals type of thing. Like when
yes,
they say, like, when little kids
then,
do that, that's the.
I'm pretty sure he dropped like a fucking like a dummy body like off of a overpass like onto car. That
and they
thing
do that in
and
Jackass
killed people.
I think they did that in like CKY. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like
which is and should be a fucking felony.
It is. It definitely is.
Make someone think they
the
killed
worst
the
thing
person.
dude.
Could have killed other people and ran them off the fucking road.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
So
that's what
Macaulay.
happens in the movie.
Yeah.
So then they like Elijah Wood's trying to convince his aunt or whatever that like her son is fucking evil, and she's like, no, it's not as cheesy as that. It's actually a pretty well done movie, but like they're like nobody believes him. And then fucking like they like Macaulay Culkin like hunts Elijah Wood down essentially like in the woods or something, and then they're
Whoa.
like fighting, and the mom kind of has an idea now about like Macaulay Culkin, and like she's kind of
Real
picked up on it.
attentive mother as he's
Yeah, right.
fucking
Yeah,
hunting the fucking.
yeah, right. He's got like a
got
crossbow and
mud.
shit.
He's got like a bear's head on his head. He's just gone totally native.
That he just he's got like the family dog's head like chopped off,
picking up the scent of Elijah Wood. Like,
right. So
it's gone north. He's just a full-on fucking psycho hunter in the woods now, and she's like, he's going through a phase. Yeah,
that boys will be boys.
But he's been. I'm telling, do not just walk in the door and throw all your stuff on the ground. Hang it up like a human being. I mean, come on. And he's out there just like fucking tracking blood on leaves and fucking setting fucking traps,
rubbing dog blood on his nipples. Jerking off into his grandma's like fucking doilies and stuff.
Yeah, his grades are up. He's cutting the heads off all his fucking action figures and shit.
And birds too, and
Yeah.
so
Switching them.
So the fucking climax of the movie is like, you know, they're like fighting on a cliff, and they both fall down, and the mom is there, like she finds them, and she's got the two of them. This movie came out in the 90s. You remember that?
What you're talking about?
She's not very strong. She's got both of them. And like Macaulay Culkin's like, please, mom.
Eeny,
Elijah Wood's
meeny,
like,
miny,
please,
moe.
please. Yeah. And then she fucking lets go of Macaulay Culkin. And like she makes a decision because she knows her son's a piece of shit, and she saves Elijah Wood. It was so intense, dude. Like it was fucking nuts. And my mom showed me that movie when I was younger. Like that's
Hell yeah, she did. Yeah. Same reason you told you about Santa Claus and God. Fucking be good, or I'll throw your ass off a cliff.
Yeah, exactly. If it's me or Mike at the cottage, like fighting on the sand dunes or something, we fall off, she's gonna definitely save Mike. I think. You know, he's way more successful than I am. He's an engineer now. I'm just a piece of shit.
Yeah, she got rid of her little King Joffrey, which is
exactly.
Like, we just got past the part where they fucking kill him. And it's mad funny because they're like, who did it? And I'm like, who didn't? Everybody hates this fucking kid. They should have looked at each other and been like, I mean, it's done, it's done. You know, what's the point in fucking looking? And when the chick with the hot girl with the eyebrows is like, why is she kidding me?
I was in love with that girl.
Dude, she's so hot in that.
Yeah.
She got the dark eyebrows and the long blonde hair, and she's all bitchy and drunk the whole time. Yeah. Fucking rules. That's my type.
Yep. Blonde and bitchy with eyebrows.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, but it's like, I don't know, man. You kind of turn that. Now it's a party. It was just this weird little gay kid make his midget uncle do all this weird shit. Everybody was very uncomfortable, and then he died. And then you know, now let this other little confused child be the king. That's what makes sense. Jesus fucking Christ! At no point they're like, can we just rewrite some of these rules here? Because let me get this straight.
But that's how it used to be, though. Little kids would end up being the king because of just their bloodline.
If some guy in the woods finds this girl and fucking shoots a baby up her, he's king. Now we have to call everyone your grace. There's got to be a scene where they all get together and it's just your grace, your grace, your grace, your grace.
Hello, your grace.
Because there was one scene that we just watched before I came down here where they said your grace like 1,000,000 fucking times. And it's just like, we got it. She's your grace.
Your majesty.
Yeah. Switch it up, man. Change it to something else. Right. You know what I mean?
Speaking of cool, awesome things that make me want to kill myself, the guy who voiced Charlie Brown just killed himself.
Jesus.
Yeah, I just read that like before you called me because I was sitting on the phone listening to music, but I was like reading stuff. And yeah, the guy like in the Charlie Brown cartoons and the movies, the guy who was like famous, he did like Comic-Cons and stuff. I guess he struggled with like schizophrenia and like stuff like that. But and then he like stalked his girlfriend for a while, I read, like, and then went in trouble, or like he got in trouble and went into prison for like 5 years because of some assault and weird shit like that. And then when he got out, he was a big advocate for like mental health and things like that. And then You know, that's not the guy you
Jesus
want to be an
Christ.
advocate for mental health, you know, because it doesn't
No.
end well.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
not the
You can't
advocate,
really
but
pick,
the
like,
example.
No, I'm not saying it, but the face of whatever organization you have going on. And you can turn it and be like, oh, well, see, this is what
You
happened.
should be.
And
Because
yes,
look
it
at this
does.
fucking, fucking you.
But at the same time, like, you know, you don't really know a success story until it ends. You know what I mean?
Well, it's
like,
and it's also, hey, psychiatrist, if you're going to put the back in 5 minutes thing up, come back in 5 minutes. Your little lemonade stand fucking therapist thing you started.
Back when it used to only be 5 cents.
Let him kick the football once. It's his own goddamn fault for keeping running after that thing, thinking it's going to change. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He had all that pent up, like,
Yeah.
you know, that grief.
He walked up to the girl and she's like,
not
hey,
the good guy.
100 yards, and he had to walk away with it. Oh, the sad Charlie Brown walk to
The music in Charlie
200
Brown was
yards.
the shit, dude. Man.
Yeah, man.
It really was. All the background music of that shit. And
It's jazzy as fuck.
yeah, Vince Guaraldi. I have the record. It's fucking dope. One day I was like, yo, this Peanuts music is dope. And I searched on Amazon. I was like, dope Peanuts music. And just to see if there was something. And there was the soundtrack to like Peanuts, like the movies and stuff and the shows. And like, yeah, it's all jazzy fucking tracks. And it's got like the Christmas shit on there and stuff.
Yeah.
And even the theme song's badass. The theme song of Peanuts is fucking awesome.
Because they used to, there's a lot of stuff back, like, you know, because they'd have like an actual band come up and do that shit. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be like a funky ass fucking track.
Well, because that was the time, like in the 70s, everything was groovy, man. I've talked about it before, but like everything, advertisements, movie soundtracks, the shit that was popular on the radio, that's why everything was groovy. But like Scooby-Doo, the soundtrack for Scooby-Doo is pretty fucking funky, man. If you listen to like the original Scooby-Doo, Where Are You fucking show.
And cartoons.
Yeah. Shout out to Hanna-Barbera again. But yeah, man, I was at Kaylee's dad's house and like his girlfriend's little granddaughter was there and she was watching Scooby-Doo on Netflix. And it was just ended up being her and I just watching Scooby-Doo on Netflix while everyone else is like chatting. Cause like it just reminds me of being a kid, but also that the music was so good, dude. Like
Was
you don't
it the
get
old
shit like
school
that.
Scooby-Doo?
Yeah. The 70s, like Scooby-Doo.
Because don't
like,
they did the whole run of like where they kind of Toy Story'd everything and they Pixar'd like all the old stuff. Where they put out like new fucking Charlie Brown,
like
where it's
animated
like
stuff,
and you kind of you feel like you're tripping.
yeah, when it's like 3D.
It's like Charlie Brown on mushrooms. It's like it sounds the same and they all look the same, but it's like colorful and more 3D and weird. And yeah, that's pretty fucked up. But that guy was born in Buffalo too.
Yeah, he probably was. That's
fun story. Maybe he'll be
he
buried
came
here.
home to recuperate, you know, and then like it was just like, oh god,
And was snowed in. And
snowed in.
There's been a
after
power
our
outage. This winter
horrific bills
storm has
lost.
caused a power outage at the Am I Gone funeral home. So the Charlie Brown guy is just chilling out back on ice by the dumpster. He will
The director's son is charged with chasing alley dogs away with a broom to make sure no one picks him off.
The funeral director used all his powers to get those 3 hairs right into place, like we remember. He was buried in his yellow shirt with the fucking zigzaggy thing on it. Rest in peace, Charlie.
Yeah, R.I.P.
All right,
Charles.
We're going to shoot into the Patreon right now. So if y'all motherfuckers want to keep this shit going, go sign up to the Patreon. Go to thermopolis.com. Click the Thurman and Lala thing. They see that logo right above you? It's going to be that. Click that. Go to the thing, pay whatever the fuck we said it as. I don't remember. And
$3 is the minimum.
That's the minimum.
$3 is basic. Just
and you get a basic
extra stuff.
If you throw us more money, maybe you'll get more shit. We'll start,
Right.
Like you said, we'll start do stickers and merch and stuff. Maybe we'll do bonus content. I don't know.
Just for you. We'll
Maybe
do like
we'll do a live stream from the funeral of the Charlie Brown guy. Yeah, our own cameos.
I bought my
so just
tickets
people
already,
we
yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yo, shout out to Kaylee.
I heard your birthday,
happy
girl.
birthday.
Your boy
Yeah.
Steve fucking hit me up. He says your birthday. I just want to say shout out, happy birthday. I don't know
He
why
said,
we
don't matter if you puke after sex. It's cool. He still want to have sex with you.
We'll start bringing 2 buckets to the. Why 2? Why'd you need the 1?
And sawdust, like they used to throw on, like kids puked
janitor
in school.
Let's
yeah,
play dirty janitor tonight. Rhyme those. Yeah, it's not like teacher student. It's janitor student.
It's
Student got sick.
Student.
That she
Where
has to
he's
go.
just in the corner, just like,
She just lays down in the nurse's office and like had sex for you guys. That's role playing for you guys.
Yeah, we're at that point where we need the extreme stuff to get off now.
Yeah.
Janitor sawdust,
Got
Peter.
a whole Lucy Charlie Brown thing going on upstairs.
All right, pay us, you
All right.
fuckers, please.
All right. We'll see you on the next one.